My name is Emily Williams. I'm the Venue and Events Manager for the Welsh Centre for International Affairs, otherwise known as the Temple of Peace.
And what does your job involve, and how long have you been here?
Okay, well, I started here in 2016 in August, so almost 2 years now. I applied for the job and got the job to basically provide unrestricted income through getting the Temple of Peace sort of known, a bit more known in Cardiff and Wales really, for events. So that's really what I've been doing. That's my job, is to encourage people to use the Temple of Peace, to spread more knowledge about what it's about, its history, the reasons why. And it's a civic building, so it's important that ordinary folk use this building, which really wasn't happening particularly when I was before I started, but it is now.
And what did you know about the Temple of Peace before you?
Nothing. I knew nothing. And interestingly, most people that I have come across have never heard of the Temple of Peace. It's here, being in the civic area of Cardiff. It's surrounded by the Welsh Government across the road and Cardiff University buildings all around. So it's kind of, people have just assumed it's another university building. Being that kind of academic establishment, you just wouldn't assume it was a civic building for people to use. But it isn't. It has a purpose, and the Welsh Centre for International Affairs is the charity that manages the Temple of Peace and is basically the guardian for that, to make sure that we stick to what the purposes of the building was from the beginning of when it was built in the 1930s. So no, I didn't know about it. Most people didn't know about it, and now I think with a lot more of the marketing activity we've been doing, more people are aware of what the Temple of Peace is about, and the reasons why we're here.
And now you do know. Now you're here. What does it mean to you to be coming into a place like this every day?
It's wonderful. It's a wonderful building. You drive in the mornings, and it's kind of it looks amazing from the outside. You walk in and you see this beautiful marble hall, which the foyer, and then you've got the marble hall. Of course, the foyer was bombed in the 1970s by the IRA, so which is interesting, bombing the Temple of Peace. And anyway, and you go into the marble hall, and it's a magnificent marble hall, and the idea really I want people to be using the venue for conferences, weddings, celebrations, debates, discussions, whatever, anything that is, art events. We're going to hopefully have Carmen as the first sort of arts performance happening next year, which I'm very excited about. I want to get more singing happening here, performance poetry. Really, this venue is about helping the people of Wales to understand global issues and to inspire action. And the best way of doing that is by engaging people in events that not only just raises their knowledge about historical issues, but also looking at the history and looking at where we are now and how we can move things forward and grow as a society. So I'm very excited about the events that we're putting on here, and they're growing more and more, which is brilliant.
And why do you think more people don't know about the...
Well, because it was a bit of a secret, really. I think the building used to be, because the way the building was done in the beginning, so the land was donated by the City of Cardiff Council, and Lord Davis decided, he said, right, you give me the land and I'll put the building on. So he paid for the building, the land was given to him. And then, of course, once the building was completed, he said, right, the ownership then goes back to the council because they own the land. But he put a lease on the building, which was to protect it, and to protect it for its purpose, which was to inspire people to act on global issues and to educate them. Because after World War I, with the number of people that were joining, because I think he was in charge of, I don't know, part of the army, platoon or whatever, and people from Wales that were joining his platoon, his regiment rather, they had rickets, they were malnourished, they were just desperately poor. But basically they didn't have any nutrition, they had rickets, they had loads of issues and diseases and stuff. And so he wanted, when he got back, he said, I want to build a Temple of Peace. And actually he wanted to across the globe, and this was the first one. And so our job really, and also he wanted to prevent future wars, which was really sad because obviously World War II happened after the building was completed. So I think I don't know, but I can feel a bit of pain with that really, because he had this vision of encouraging peace and it didn't happen. So in a way, our charity and this venue is about opening up people's minds to all sorts of different things, and the best way of doing that is through debates, discussions, entertainment, getting people to use the space to see the history, because most people that come in here, whether it's for a sort of wedding or a celebration or a debate or a conference, could be a third sector organisation, another charity, because they don't know of the venue, when they walk in, they're like, wow, this is incredible. They want to know the history, and of course then we share a little bit about why it's here and its purpose, and people leave knowing a bit more about the Temple of Peace. And actually what's lovely is that then people come back and go, hi, I came to a conference here and I'm wondering, I've got this new idea I want to develop and stuff, can I talk to you about it? Yes, of course. Or I want to have a party, or I want to get married here. And yeah. So it's great. It's now being used for its purpose, but more and more people are using it, and that's the point really. It's for the public. So this is a secular building, so we're non-religious. We welcome everybody because we're all humans and we all have red blood in our veins and etc. So, but there are some others around which are linked to charities and stuff, and sort of religions and stuff, and they're very small. They're like temples where you pray and stuff like that. But no, this is a secular building, and we're here for the people of Wales, really. The council chamber is my favourite part of the building. I mean, I love the marble hall. But the council chamber is effectively, that's where Lord Davis's Library of Peace is stored. I love the fact that you walk in there and that historically there have been discussions over the decades about peace and how do we encourage peace and how do we inspire people to act on issues around peace. And I find that amazing, beautiful, because you know that it's a dynamic space. And it's been used for that purpose. So we have the Welsh Centre for International Affairs is a charity, and we have a number of projects. So we've got Hub Come Africa, which is a project which sort of encourages and builds and supports the links between Welsh businesses and African businesses. So Hub Come Africa are based here, and that's one of our projects, as is Wales for Peace, one of our projects. So and then we've also got UNA Exchange, which have been going for decades, as well as Fair Trade Wales and Size of Wales. So we're quite a busy space here. Actually, there's lots of activity going on, and they're all organisations and individuals who are committed to encouraging people to know about ecological issues or peace issues. Internationalism, I suppose.
And lots of people come because they have exams and things, don't they?
Yeah, well, that's been the main. The number of people that know the Temple of Peace because they've had an exam here 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 8 years ago. And in a way, that's a little bit sad because, when people have exams, they're always really tense and stuff and really fearful. And actually, this is a Temple of Peace. It's about life and love and light. And so it's quite nice to start having more events here, which isn't just about sitting down for an hour and a half, trying desperately to remember all the answers from your revision. So, yeah.
And do you think, obviously this year is the 80th anniversary of the Temple of Peace. Do you think the Temple of Peace is just as relevant today?
I think it's more relevant, actually. I think with the, I'm really proud of the fact that I've been here for a couple of years and I'm here during this period, the 80th anniversary, because if you think about what's going on in the world, I know they say that, sort of statistically we are at a very peaceful period in our world, but I think it's all relative. The amount of poverty that's going on, the almost rampagent rise of capitalism, and how it's moving towards causing more pain and suffering along the chain. I think there's a big relevancy now for the Welsh Centre for International Affairs, or WCIA, to encourage more understanding about how things are in the world and how we can sort of reduce the pain. The number of refugees that we have is astronomical. The number of displaced peoples is huge. And it's not just the displacing of people, but it's the fact that many countries are becoming so much more sort of like, no, it's nothing to do with me and isolationism, you know what I mean? It's something I don't want to know about you, I'm not interested. I just find all that really difficult. So I think the Temple of Peace right here and now has a big job to do, and I'm quite excited about that job really, because that's part of the history. So that's really exciting to me.
Or what would you like to say to the temple on its 80th anniversary?
I'd like to say I hope you're here in 100 years' time, because I think it's 80 years it's 80 because it's 80 years of not just the building sitting here, but it's 80 years of activism really, and campaigning on a very small scale. I'd like us to become better known, and I think we can have a greater influence. And it would be amazing if some philanthropist somewhere went, I love this idea of having temples of pieces across the globe. I'm going to pick up that mantle and I'm going to run with that. That would be amazing. That would be incredible. So yeah.